I woke up that summer morning in Portland, the sun shining through the window, casting a warm glow in our kitchen. I was ready for another mundane day, filled with routine chores and the soft hum of the city outside. The tablet sat on the counter, a usual sight, but today it felt different, almost ominous. I brushed it aside, thinking nothing of it until curiosity pulled me closer. What if I opened it? What if I just checked the messages? A knot formed in my stomach as I typed in the password, my heart racing. Then I saw it. A text from someone named Lila. My hands trembled as I read the words, "Can't wait to see you again tonight," just like old times. The air in the room grew thick, and the world around me faded. Nathan, my husband, had betrayed me. I felt a surge of heartbreak mixed with anger. I slammed the tablet down, the sound echoing in the silence of our chilly kitchen. Nathan strolled in just then, a casual smile on his face, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. "Hey, what's up?" he asked, grabbing a cup from the cupboard. "Who is Lila?" I demanded, my voice shaking. His smile faltered, and I could see the gears turning in his head. "Lila? I don't know what you're talking about," he replied, his voice smooth, but I could sense the tension rising. "Don't lie to me, Nathan." I felt the heat of anger flood my cheeks. "I saw the message. You think I wouldn't notice? You think I'm that naive?" His denial crumbled as I thrust the tablet toward him, my heart pounding in my chest. "Look at it. You can't deny this." He glanced at the screen, and for a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of guilt in his eyes. But then he shrugged, his expression hardening. "It was just an affair. It means nothing." Nothing. Those words cut deeper than any knife. My mind raced with thoughts of revenge. How could he dismiss our life together so easily? The emotional turmoil inside me was a tempest, and I felt lost, adrift in a sea of betrayal. What should I do now? I thought of all the dreams we built together, now reduced to ashes. Should I confront him further? Or was it time to take control of my own life? "Just an affair?" I echoed, my voice trembling. "You really think you can say that and walk away unscathed? That this doesn't mean anything to me? What about us? What about everything we've shared?" He met my gaze, and for a split second, I saw something shift in him. Was it regret? Or just annoyance? "Vivian, it was just a fling. Can't you get over it? We can move past this." "Move past this?" My heart raced with indignation. "You don't get to decide that for me, Nathan. You don't get to tell me how I should feel." I could feel the walls closing in, the kitchen suddenly too small for the emotions swirling between us. I took a step back, my mind swirling with the possibilities. What if I exposed him? What if I turned the tables? "Maybe I should tell everyone," I said, my voice steady now, fueled by a strange sense of power. "Maybe I should let them know how you really are, how you waste our life on a flirtation with someone else." Nathan's face paled, but he quickly masked it with bravado. "You wouldn't dare. Think of the fallout, Vivian. You're just being dramatic." "Dramatic?" I laughed bitterly, the sound foreign even to my own ears. "No, Nathan, I'm being realistic. You've shattered my trust, and now I have to pick up the pieces. Don't think I won't fight back." As I stood there, a mix of heartbreak and righteous anger coursing through me, I realized something vital. This was my moment. I could either let him define my pain or take charge of my own story. The emotional turmoil was brewing, and I was no longer willing to stand by and let him decide my fate. The anger felt powerful, and somehow it made me feel alive. I took a deep breath, ready to confront the chaos within me. This was just the beginning. As I sat on the edge of my bed, the weight of Nathan's betrayal pressed down on me like a heavy blanket. My mind began to wander back to the moments I had overlooked, the subtle signs that hinted at the growing distance between us. I remembered the evenings when he would come home late, brushing off my questions with a distracted smile. "Just work, Viv," he would say, his eyes not quite meeting mine. I thought I understood, But now, I wondered how I had been so blind. There was the time we had gone to our favorite restaurant. I had felt excited, hoping for a spark to reignite our connection. Instead, I watched him stare at his phone more than at me. "Nathan, are you even listening?" I had asked, my voice tinged with annoyance. He had nodded, but I could see his mind was somewhere else. How had I not seen it then? I closed my eyes, trying to erase the images of those moments. Each recollection felt like a dagger, twisting deeper into my heart. I thought of our intimate nights, the laughter we shared, and how they now felt tainted by betrayal. I could almost hear the echoes of our love, now replaced by silence and doubt. How could something that once brought me joy now bring me so much pain? Just then, my phone buzzed, breaking my trance. It was Larissa, my longtime friend. "Hey, you okay? Want to talk?" I hesitated for a moment, my fingers hovering over the screen. Could I share my pain with her? But I needed someone to lean on, someone who could understand. "Can you come over?" I typed back, my heart racing. When Larissa arrived, she wrapped her arms around me tightly. "I'm here," she said softly. Her presence was comforting, a gentle reminder that I was not alone. We settled on the couch, and I took a deep breath, the words bubbling up inside me. "I can't believe Nathan would do this to me. I thought we were happy." Larissa nodded, her expression serious. "I get it. I had my own experience with betrayal, you know. It hurts, but you deserve to feel better." As she spoke, I felt a bond forming between us. We had both faced heartache, and in that shared pain, I found a flicker of hope. "How did you get through it?" I asked, curious and desperate for guidance. "Honestly, I leaned on my friends. I let them in." Larissa smiled gently. "You don't have to go through this alone." Her words resonated with me, and for the first time since the betrayal, I felt a sense of connection. I realized that I could confide in her. "I just don't know what to do next," I admitted, my voice trembling. "I want to confront him, but I'm scared of what I might say." "Maybe you should," Larissa suggested. "You deserve to express how you feel. Keeping it bottled up will only make it worse." Her encouragement gave me strength. I wanted to reclaim my voice, to stand up for myself. "You're right. I need to take control of this situation." As we talked, I felt a sense of purpose beginning to emerge, one that kept me from drowning in my sorrow. Conversations flowed, laughter broke through the darkness, and our connection deepened. Larissa shared her own struggles, and in doing so, I felt less alone in my pain. It was as if we were weaving a new tapestry of support, one that could shield us from the storms of betrayal. Before she left, Larissa placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "Remember, Viv, you are stronger than you think. You've got this." I nodded, feeling more empowered than I had in days. As I closed the door behind her, I took a moment to breathe deeply. I was no longer just a victim of Nathan's deceit. I was beginning to rediscover who I was and what I deserved. I looked at the empty space beside me on the couch and whispered, "I won't let this define me." With each passing moment, I felt the stirrings of resolve growing within me. I had the support I needed, and I was ready to fight for my own happiness. As I sat on the edge of my bed, my phone buzzing with messages from Larissa, the weight of the last few days pressed heavily on my chest. The betrayal felt like a dark cloud hanging over me, and I needed to do something. I picked up the phone and dialed Larissa's number. "Hey, Viv, what's up?" she answered, her voice bright and warm. "Larissa, I think it's time we take action. I can't just sit here and let Nathan get away with this," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I completely agree. We need to confront him," she replied, her tone shifting to one of determination. We met at our favorite coffee shop, the scent of roasted beans filling the air. I could see the fire in Larissa's eyes as she sipped her latte, and it ignited something within me too. "Okay, Here's the plan, she said, leaning in closer. We gather all the evidence we can find, texts, emails, everything. Then we lay it all out for him. He needs to know how much he has hurt us. I nodded, feeling a mix of anger and empowerment. But what if it's worse than we think? What if he's involved in something bigger? Larissa raised an eyebrow. We'll deal with that when we get there. For now, we focus on what we know. As we talked, I found myself thinking about Nathan, the man I thought I knew so well. I remembered the late nights when he would come home late, the excuses he made, the way his eyes sometimes seemed distant. I had brushed those thoughts aside, but now they came rushing back. Was he lying to me all along? After our coffee, we decided to dig deeper. We spent hours researching online, poring over information that could lead us to the truth. As I sifted through Nathan's social media accounts, I stumbled across a post that made my heart race. It was a picture of him at a restaurant with someone who was not me. They looked happy, and my stomach twisted in knots. Larissa, look at this, I said, showing her the screen. Her eyes widened. Who is that? Do you know her? No, but she looks familiar. I think I've seen her around town, I replied, biting my lip. This just keeps getting worse, Larissa said. We need to find out everything we can about her. This isn't just about Nathan anymore. It's about everyone he's hurt. My mind raced with the implications. It wasn't just Nathan's betrayal. It was a whole web of deceit. I felt a storm brewing inside me, a mix of emotions battling for control. Part of me wanted to scream, to make him feel the pain he had caused. But another part whispered for calm, urging me to think clearly. What do we do if we find out he's involved in something bigger? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Larissa leaned back in her chair, contemplating. We have to be careful. This isn't just a personal issue anymore. We have to think about the consequences. I nodded, feeling the weight of her words. My loyalties were being tested. I had loved Nathan, but I also felt a deep sense of loyalty to the people affected by his actions. As we continued to gather information, I felt the internal struggle intensifying. Revenge was tempting, but was it really the answer? I found myself wondering if there was a possibility for forgiveness, not just for Nathan, but for myself too. Viv, you okay? Larissa asked, pulling me from my thoughts. Yeah, just thinking, I replied, forcing a smile. Whatever you decide, I'm here for you. We're in this together, she reassured me. I appreciated her support, but deep down, I knew I had to make the final decision. The balance between revenge and forgiveness was tipping, and I needed clarity before I acted. That night, as I lay in bed, I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. The future felt uncertain, but one thing was clear. I would not let Nathan's actions define me. I would confront him, but I would also confront my own feelings. I was ready to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. The moment had come. I stood in front of the mirror, my heart pounding in my chest. Today, I would confront Nathan again. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. I felt the weight of the truth pressing down on me, but I also felt a spark of determination. I would not let his actions define me anymore. As I walked into the living room, I saw Nathan sitting on the couch, his eyes glued to his phone. The sight of him made my stomach twist. How could he act so normal after everything? I cleared my throat, and his gaze shot up to meet mine. Vivian, hey, what's up? He asked, his voice casual, but I could detect a hint of concern in his eyes. Cut the act, Nathan, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. We need to talk. He put his phone down, his expression shifting from casual to serious. Okay, what is it? I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. I know about the affair. I know about everything. His face hardened, and he leaned back into the couch, crossing his arms. I told you, it was just a mistake. It meant nothing. Nothing? I felt the heat rising in my cheeks. You think that makes it okay? You think I can just forget it like that? You betrayed me, Nathan. You broke our vows. He opened his mouth to respond, but I held up my hand to stop him. Let me finish. I have been trying to understand why you did this. I ignored all the signs because I wanted to believe in us, in our marriage. But now, I see how wrong I was. Nathan shifted uncomfortably, his eyes dropping to the floor. Vivian, No, I interrupted, my voice louder than I intended. You don't get to talk your way out of this. You hurt me, and you need to understand the pain you caused. As I spoke, I felt a mix of anger and sadness. I had spent so much time feeling small, feeling like I needed to forgive him to move on. But now, as I laid everything bare, I began to realize that I had the power to choose my own path. I never wanted to hurt you, Nathan said quietly, his voice cracking slightly. I lost my way. I thought I could find something outside our marriage that I was missing. What you were missing? I shook my head in disbelief. You had everything. We had everything, but you threw it away for a moment of selfishness. A silence fell between us, thick with unspoken words. I watched as Nathan's expression changed. A flicker of remorse crossed his face. For a moment, I thought I saw the man I once loved, the man who promised to cherish me. I'm sorry, Vivian, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I never meant to hurt you. I wish I could take it back. Those words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I felt my resolve begin to shake. Part of me wanted to scream, to unleash all the pain he had caused. But another part of me, the part that was beginning to heal, wanted to see if there was hope for understanding. I don't know if I can forgive you, I admitted, my voice softer now. But I refuse to let your actions control my life any longer. I need to reclaim who I am, and that starts with letting go of this anger. Nathan looked at me, his eyes searching mine. What does that mean for us? I don't know, I replied honestly. But it means I will no longer be a victim of your choices. I will find my own path. As I spoke those words, I felt a surge of strength within me. This was my turning point. I could feel the chains of his betrayal starting to loosen. I was not just the woman who had been wronged. I was more than that. I hope you find what you're looking for, Vivian, Nathan said, his tone a mix of sadness and acceptance. I nodded, feeling a strange sense of calm wash over me. I will, Nathan. I promise you that. With that, I turned and walked out of the room, each step lighter than the last. I was no longer just a woman scorned. I was a woman ready to embrace her own future. The confrontation had shown me a glimpse of my own strength, and for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. After my confrontation with Nathan, a shift began to take place within me. I felt like I was waking up from a long sleep, ready to discover who I was without him. I took a deep breath and decided to embrace this new journey of self-discovery. I had spent so many years focusing on our life together that I had forgotten what I truly loved and desired. One sunny afternoon, Larissa and I sat on my back porch, sipping iced tea. The warmth of the sun felt good on my skin, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a flicker of joy. You know, Viv, Larissa said, her eyes sparkling, we should take a painting class. Remember how much you used to love art? I hesitated. I haven't painted in years, Larissa. What if I'm not good anymore? Who cares? It's about having fun and expressing yourself, she replied, her enthusiasm infectious. Let's sign up together. It will be a great distraction. Her words resonated with me. I needed to distract myself, to fill my time with things that brought me happiness. Okay, let's do it, I exclaimed, feeling a rush of excitement. As the weeks passed, our bond deepened. We laughed over our clumsy brush strokes and shared our fears and hopes. One evening, as we painted under the soft glow of the porch light, I opened up to her. I feel so lost sometimes, like I don't know who I am without Nathan. It's scary, I confessed, my voice trembling. Larissa put down her brush and looked at me earnestly. You are so much more than just Nathan's wife. You have always been strong and creative, Viv. This is your chance to explore that side of you. I nodded, her words sinking in. That night, I decided to start therapy. I needed someone to help me unravel the tangled mess of emotions I was feeling. When I first walked into the therapist's office, I felt a mix of anxiety and hope. The room was cozy, filled with soft colors and comfortable chairs. Tell me what brings you here, the therapist said kindly. I took a deep breath. I just went through a painful betrayal. I feel angry, lost, and I don't know how to heal. She nodded, her expression understanding. Healing takes time, Vivian. It's important to explore your feelings and embrace your identity outside of your past. Through our sessions, I began to unpack my emotions. I talked about my anger towards Nathan and my sadness over our lost years. I learned that it was okay to feel pain, but I also discovered that I didn't have to let it define me. I could reclaim my narrative. One afternoon, while reflecting on our sessions, I had a breakthrough. I am not a victim, I whispered to myself. I am more than Nathan's betrayal. I am strong, capable, and worthy of love. That realization filled me with a sense of empowerment. I started setting small goals for myself. I made a list of things I wanted to do: travel, take dance classes, and explore new hobbies. I wanted to embrace life fully, to find joy in the little things. Viv, you look different, Larissa said one day, noticing the change in my demeanor. What's going on? I feel like I'm finally waking up, I replied, smiling. I am ready to live for myself. As I painted, danced, and laughed with Larissa, I felt the weight of Nathan's betrayal begin to lift. My worth was no longer tied to our marriage. I was discovering the vibrant woman I had been all along. Let's plan a weekend getaway, I suggested to Larissa one day. Just us, to celebrate this new chapter. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Yes, a road trip sounds amazing. With each passing day, I felt stronger. I learned to embrace my passions, and in doing so, I reclaimed my identity. Nathan's actions no longer held power over me. I was on a path to healing, and I was ready to face the world as my true self. As days turned into weeks, I found myself at a crossroads. The pain from Nathan's betrayal was still there, but something inside me was different. I had started to heal. I learned that true strength comes not from holding on to anger, but from moving forward. I knew it was time to put the past behind me once and for all. One bright Saturday morning, I stood in front of the mirror, taking a long look at my reflection. My hair was pulled back neatly, and I wore a simple blue dress that made me feel good. I had a meeting with Nathan. I wanted to have one last conversation to set my boundaries and reclaim my self-respect. It was time for closure. When I arrived at the coffee shop where we agreed to meet, my heart raced. I spotted Nathan sitting at a corner table looking nervous. He looked up as I approached, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of regret in his eyes. "Vivian," he said softly, standing up. "I didn't think you would come." I took a deep breath. I needed to. We need to talk. We both sat down, and the air between us was thick with tension. I could see people around us enjoying their coffee, but all I could focus on was Nathan. "I want to be clear about how I feel," I began. "What you did hurt me deeply. I thought we had something real, but your actions showed me otherwise." Nathan looked down, avoiding my gaze. "I know I messed up. I never wanted to hurt you. It was a mistake." "That's just it, Nathan," I said, my voice steady. "You think it was just a mistake, but it was much more than that for me. It broke my trust, and it shattered my heart." "I didn't mean for it to go that far," he said, finally looking up at me. It was just an affair. It didn't mean anything. The words hit me like a slap. You don't get it, do you? It means everything. It means you chose someone else over me. It means you didn't value what we had. Nathan looked pained, and for a moment, I felt a tiny spark of sympathy for him. But then I remembered the sleepless nights and the tears I had shed. This conversation isn't about your feelings, Nathan. It's about mine. I need to reclaim my life. He opened his mouth to speak, but I held up my hand. No, I'm done listening to excuses. I deserve better than this. I deserve to be happy. A silence fell between us, and I could see that he was struggling with my words. Vivian, I don't want to hear any more apologies, I interrupted. I want to forgive you, but not for your sake. I want to forgive you for my own peace of mind. I won't carry this weight anymore. I refuse to let your actions control my life. Nathan looked at me, his expression shifting from regret to something softer. I never wanted to lose you. I thought I could fix things. Some things can't be fixed, Nathan. I have to move on. I deserve to find joy again, to rediscover who I am without you. As I spoke those words, I felt a surge of empowerment wash over me. I was no longer the hurt woman sitting in that chilly kitchen confronting her husband. I was a woman who had found her voice, her strength. I wish you well, Nathan. I truly do, I said, standing up to leave. But I need to walk away from this chapter of my life. Vivian, please, he pleaded, but I shook my head. This is goodbye, Nathan. I hope you find what you're looking for. With that, I turned and walked out of the coffee shop, feeling lighter with each step. Outside, the sun was shining brighter than ever. I took a deep breath, inhaling the fresh air. I was free. I had let go of the pain and anger. I was ready to embrace my new life, a life filled with possibilities. I smiled, knowing that I had the power to create my own happiness, and I was finally at peace with myself. Share this story if you believe that true strength comes from moving forward and reclaiming your happiness. Leave a comment about a moment when you found your voice in a difficult situation, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one.